Yo guys, I'm Niek from tpschool and welcome back to a brand new video. In this video I'm going to show you how to make a pop track around a vocal sample. But before we start, I want to mention that this video is sponsored by Splice. Splice is an online sample library where you can download a big amount of samples. You can also download or hire plugins via Splice. Splice has a very easy to work with desktop app where you can search for samples or get an overview of the samples you already downloaded. Splice recently launched a contest. The winner will receive a free pass to ADE and $1,500 to go toward travel expenses. If you want more information about that contest, head over to the link in the description. Let's begin with the video. So I took this vocal sample from Splice. Sounds pretty shit now, but we're going to fix it with some FX. I added some EQ, reverb, distortion and sidechain, and it sounds like this right now. Now let's create a melody with it. So I chopped up the vocal and it sounds like this. So let's now build a track around it. The first thing you need to add are some chords. I went for the mallet style chords with a super simple saw on top of it. It sounds like this. Most important thing on this is just EQing and reverb. I use plug up from our selection pack. I use plug Amazon from our futuristic pack, and I use the init preset of Diva, which sounds like this. Very basic, but together with the rest it sounds really cool. Of course, don't forget about the bass. On this I also did some EQing, just cutting out the low and high unwanted frequencies. I also added a decapitator, which is a very harsh distortion plugin, and a OTT to make it a little bit more crispy. One thing you should definitely not forget about are the atmospheric sounds. This really fits well in the drop. It's just a square wave with a shit ton of reverb, and I mean a lot of reverb. The last synth I add in the drop is this super simple ARP. I made the sound stereo with the stereo enhancer of Fruity Loops itself. I did some basic EQing with the EQ2. I boosted the sound with sausage fattener. I added the fatness to around 14% and I added some OTT to make it more crispy. You should keep the drop drums really simple, something like this. On top of the drop I added a vocal, which is from our new pack, which will be released tomorrow, so stay tuned for that. It sounds like this. I feel alright, I feel alright. It just has reverb and delay on it, and the second vocal has a EQ on it with the radio preset and some decapitator. That's it for the drop. Let's move on to the break. In the break I also used the vocals, which sounds like this. I feel alright, I wanna dancing through the night. I used the wet vocals, so there's no much need to add a lot of effects. Break, there's constantly this ARP playing, which I already showed you. And I added a Reese bass with some plucky chords, which sounds like this. Very simple sound, just added some EQ and reverb on it. One thing I want to show you is the plugin I used for the chords. It's Zebra 2. I think you probably never heard of it, but it's such a cool plugin. I really recommend you to buy this. The break, FX and drums are really important to create some ambience. In the build-up, I'm using the same synths as in the break, but I'm just introducing this vocal to the listeners. For the build-up FX and drums, I just kept it very simple, just a snare fill from a futuristic pack and basically the same down filters as in the break, and I added this sweep. You should definitely not forget about pre-drop fill. And with all this being said, we've made a very simple pop track from one sample, and it sounds like this. Thank you guys for watching. If you have any questions, make sure to leave them in the comments, and I hope I see you guys next time.